Hey guys, welcome back. By now you've probably heard that Alaska was hit by a typhoon this week since it's finally made national news. But I wanted to make a video because I see some misconceptions and not full understanding of what is going on, how catastrophic this is. I've had people ask me if we're okay. So a lot of people, especially in the lower 48, don't understand the geography of Alaska. So I wanted to come on as someone who lives in Alaska, who's lived in rural Alaska. I wanted to explain and clarify some things for you guys because I'm starting to see videos pop up on social media from influencers in the lower 48, from like news stations in the lower 48, and they don't even have the correct footage. One video had saying it was Kipnuk and it was actually Nome from the 2022 typhoon. So there's just a lot of information right now being thrown out there. So I just want to clarify some things. Okay, I'm going to start off by talking about the area that this has affected. Oh, I cannot do it this way. I don't know how meteorologists do it. I'm going to flip the camera around. Okay, so we got this map. It is a map of the indigenous people and the different languages of Alaska. I got this at the Alaska Native Heritage Center here in Anchorage. So this area right here is the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta. Right here is the Kuskokwim River. Over here is the Yukon River. It is a delta, it looks like a triangle. The rivers empty out into the sea, that's a delta. So for short, YK Delta region. So this is the region that you will have heard about. So the two villages that you're hearing most about are Kipnuk and Quig. It's short for Quigilingok. Now we're seeing videos of what happened appear. People are starting to share their stories. I personally know someone who is from Kipnuk. I'm not sharing everything she told me because it's not my story to tell, but this is devastating. Multi-generational homes are gone. Imagine being in your house and it just starts floating away and you're in darkness and you don't know if you're in the river or in the ocean and you're just like just floating until help comes. Like that is just absolutely terrifying what these people went through and are still continuing to go through. This is a collective traumatic experience. Now, some comments I've seen online say, well, why didn't they evacuate, or why blah, 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 why did they have to wait? There are no roads connecting to these coastal regions. So we personally have lived up here in the Norton Sound region in Nome. My family lives there, my husband's family's from there. There are no roads connecting to these coastal communities. You either fly in or out, and that's how you leave. Like, even with a warning, you cannot drive to the rest of Alaska. It does not connect. So these people had to wait to be rescued. And I think the National Guard has says that this is like the biggest airlift operation rescue mission that the state's had. There are thousands of people that are now displaced. The National Guard did share clips, which I'll share with you guys. Some of the people arriving here in Anchorage. Initially, people were sheltered in the schools, but there's no power. Toilets weren't working. You know, there's oil spilling. It's just not livable conditions. And the order came for Quig and Kipnuk to be evacuated. Now, over here in this area, there's Bethel. Bethel is like a hub to the surrounding villages. Just like Nome up here is a hub to these villages, Kotz is a hub to these villages. So they're little towns where people kind of like, if they want to go to Anchorage, they usually do stop in Bethel and then get to Anchorage. So people were being sheltered in Bethel, but there's just too many people for the town. Like there's no way Bethel can handle thousands of people to be sheltered there. So they're being sent to Anchorage, which is where we live. Anchorage is the biggest city here in Alaska. I don't know what the current population is, but it still feels like a small town to me. So they're being transported here. Now I want to make one thing clear. This isn't like, oh, we're going down up the hill or whatever and being sheltered. This is almost 500 miles from their hometown. Okay, to show you on the map, they're going from here, this area, all the way to Anchorage. That's almost 500 miles. And it's not just the distance, but it's a completely different way of life. You're going from village life to now city life, and it's a culture shock. I think a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people in the lower 48, or even those that have lived here in the city their whole lives or are from the lower 48 and live in Anchorage, they don't fully understand what rural Alaska is if you've never been there or lived there. I personally have lived there. I've worked in the medical field in rural Alaska. I've worked in the airline industry in rural Alaska, and it is a completely different world. There are people that never go out and come to the city. Flying from rural Alaska to Anchorage is very expensive. And then that's coming from a hub. So a hub like Bethel, Nome, and Kotz. Now, from a village, it gets even worse. So when I worked at a local airline in Nome, I remember just flying from Gamble or Savunga. It's an hour flight. It was like $400 to $500 round trip. I just checked the website and it has increased. So imagine $400 or $500 just to get to Nome. And then you still have to do another hour flight to Anchorage. So it's like over $1,000 and you're still in the same state. You haven't even left the state. And most people, when they do come to Anchorage or the big cities, it's for medical care. It's not so easy to go back and forth. These villages rely on subsistence food, on their Alaskan native food. So there's a change in the diet. There's a change in the transportation. A lot of transportation in the villages are four-wheelers. Here it's a city. It's completely different. And imagine being told you can only take one bag, leave your pets behind, and then being flown 500 miles away, and then you're in a shelter with hundreds of people, an unknown city, a whole different way of life, and you just went through something so traumatic. My brain is spiraling. I'm very how can I help? What do I do? So this is one step that I can educate and kind of paint the bigger picture, I guess. So today's Friday. It's 5 days out from the typhoon hitting, and they're still reassessing. There's still a lot of more damage that they're finding. The numbers are increasing for the people that need to be evacuated because the nearby villages were also affected. Some people, their water infrastructure, their sewage, their power system, utilities are affected, and that makes living conditions unlivable. And because things are rapidly, constantly changing, I saw a lot of the organizations post last night, hold on tight. We know you want to help, because there's a lot of people that are how can we donate? Where can we help? Do you need volunteers? But right now they're the main goal was evacuate the people. There's shelters around town in place. Some are staying at the Alaska Airlines Center. Some are in the Egan Center. A few hundred more are arriving in Anchorage today. And I think once they have everything settled down, they are gonna give updates on how we can help. There are places currently taking donations. I'm gonna list in the description of this video every source that I have found, and keep checking, because I know there was one that wanted the Amazon wish list, but because people are moving, they're putting a hold on that right now. But I'm gonna list everything that I've found, ways you can help, even people in the lower 48, people that aren't in Alaska. My employer is doing a donation collection, so I will be donating through them, and also looking to see other ways I can help, because there's also, in addition to people being displaced, there's also pets that had to be left behind that are slowly trickling into Anchorage. And actually, we got our dog from Bethel, Leia. She was a rescue. I am gonna post those organizations that are dealing with that. I'm gonna put that in the description as well. Right now, the city of Anchorage has estimated about 2,000 people are gonna be coming here to Anchorage. So there's still people in Bethel. There's still people that went to other villages. There's people that are staying with family. I think as of right now, they're estimating 2,000 people. So they're still trying to see how this is all going to work out. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't okay, let's start planning and rebuilding tomorrow. Winter is coming. There is no rebuilding right now. So a lot of these places get their supplies and stuff through barges. There is no construction in the winter. Everything is pretty much on hold right now. And a lot of these people rely on subsistence foods like fishing, hunting, and they just lost all of that. All of their work that they did in the summer to get ready for winter, that's all gone. It breaks my heart. My coworker who was sharing her stories, I tried so hard not to cry. I got a headache from it, but because I was trying to hold it in, because these people have gone through something horrific. There are so many communities that are along the coast, and you can't help but wonder what happened now. Is that the future of all of these communities? Because these storms are getting stronger. They're coming later in the year, and there's no ice in the ocean to block the winds. So the climate has definitely changed here in Alaska. In 2022, September of 2022, my husband Brian, he was out in Nome during Typhoon Merbok. You can see there the waves going over the seawall, flooding the streets. It's taking longer for the oceans to freeze up, and these storms are getting stronger. Is this the future of our coastal communities? So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts. And again, I'm gonna put in the description box all of the resources I found, ways you can help. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.